Ho. Happy hot. Sorry. Hello. Happy holidays and welcome to Quebec Art Company's first, but not last, virtual play reading. Performed and recorded in real time from our homes to yours. And brought to you through the magic of, well, COVID-19. For this first outing, or rather inning, we are delighted to present You Can't Take It With You, a madcap comedy by Hart and George S. Kaufman. We hope you enjoyed as much as we enjoyed making it for you. So, once again, happy holidays from all of us at Quebec Art Company. And happy viewing.
My, that kitchen's hot.
What, Esty?
I say the kitchen's awful hot. The new candy I'm making, it'll never get cool.
Do you have to make candy today, Esty? It's such a hot day.
Well, I got all those new orders. Ed went out and got a bunch of new orders.
My, if this keeps on, I imagine you'll be opening up a store.
That's what Ed was saying last night. But no, I want to be a dancer.
Well, the trouble with dancing is it takes so long. You've been studying such a long time.
Only 8 years. After all, Mother, you've been writing plays for 8 years. We started at about the same time.
Yes, but you shouldn't count my first 2 years because I was learning to type.
I think the candy's cooled down now, Miss Essie.
Well, thanks, Reba. Mother, I want you to try it.
Finished the second act yet, Miss Sycamore?
What?
I said, did you finish the second act?
Oh no, Reba. I've just got Cynthia entering the monastery.
She was at the Kit Kat Club, wasn't she?
Oh, well, she gets tired of the Kit Kat Club and there's this monastery, so she goes there.
Do they let her in?
Oh, yeah, yes, I made a visitor's day, so anybody can come.
Oh,
So she arrives on visitor's day and just stays.
you mean she stays all night?
Oh, yes, she stays 6 years.
6 years? My, I bet she busts that monastery wide open.
Pinna, will you bring up one of those new skyrockets, please? I want to show them to Miss Sycamore. Look, Penny. What do you think of these little firecrackers I just made? Nice, huh?
Yes, dear Paul. Paul, were you ever in a monastery?
No, I wasn't. But wait till you hear the rockets. Gold stars, blue stars, and then bombs, and then a balloon. Depina thought of the balloon.
Sounds lovely. Did you do all that today?
Sure. Look what we made. Cost us 18 cents to make, and we sell them for 50. Depina, how many do you figure you can make before the 4th of July?
Well, we've got 2 weeks yet. What day are you going to take the stuff up to Mount Vernon?
About a week. You know, we're going to need a larger booth this year. I got a lot of stuff made up.
Look, Mr. Sycamore, I'm afraid the powder chamber is just a little bit too close to the balloon.
Well, we got the stars and the bombs in between.
But that don't give the balloon time enough. A balloon needs plenty of time.
I think you better go down the cellar and try it.
All right.
Miss Alice going to be home to dinner tonight, Miss Sycamore?
What? I don't know, Reba, maybe.
Well, I'll set a place for her, but she's only been home 1 night this week.
Yes, I know.
Mother, have you tried my new candies? I want to know what you think.
Oh, they look lovely. What do you call them?
I think I'll call them love dreams.
Yes, That's nice. I'm going back to my war play, Essie. What do you think?
Oh, are you, Mother?
Well, yes, I sort of got myself into this monastery and I can't get out.
Oh, well, it'll come to you, Mother. Remember how you got out of that brothel? The snakes look hungry. Reba, did you feed the snakes yet?
I think that Pinna was right about the balloon. Oof, it was too close to the powder.
I'm going back to the war play, Paul.
Oh, that's nice. We're putting some red stars after the bombs and then the balloon. That ought to do it.
Essie, hey Essie, listen to this.
I like that, Ed. Did you write it?
No, Beethoven.
Lovely. Got a lot of you in it. I made some new candies this afternoon, Ed.
Yeah?
You can take them around tonight.
All right. Now here's the finish. This is me. How's that?
That's fine. Remember it when Colin Cough comes, will you?
Ed, dear, why don't you and Essie have a baby? I was thinking about it just the other day.
I don't know. We could have one if you want us to. What about it, Essie? Do you want to have a baby?
Oh, I don't care. I'm willing if Grandma is.
Let's ask her.
Now, where's my war play? Labor play, religious play, sex play? I know it's here someplace.
I was right about the balloon. It was too close to the powder.
Anything you want print. Depina, how about some more calling cards?
Oh, no, thanks. I've still got the first 1,000.
Well, call on somebody, will you?
What have we got for dinner tonight, Reba? I'm hungry.
Let's see. Cornflakes, watermelon, some of those candies Miss Essie made, and some kind of meat. I forget.
You know, if I'm going to take some of those new candies around, I'd better print up some brochure after dinner.
Do you really think anyone reads those things, Ed, that you put in the candy boxes?
Oh, here's the war play, poison gas.
That must be the fresh flies.
Reba, have you ever been in a monastery?
No, I don't go no place much. I'm on.
Oh, Reba, Depina and I are going to take the fireworks up to Mount Vernon next week. Do you think you could give us a hand?
Yes, sir, but I can't take any money for it this year. If the government finds out I'm working, they'll get pretty sore. Say, where's Grandma?
Oh, she's over at Columbia this afternoon. You know, the graduation ceremonies.
My, the years certainly do roll around.
Poison. Poison.
Oh, Ed, I got a wonderful idea in the bathroom this afternoon. I was reading Trotsky. It's yours, isn't it?
Yeah, I left it there.
Who is it?
You know, Trotsky, the Russian revolutionist. Anyway, it struck me that it was a great fireworks idea. Well, I'm going to do the revolution, a full hour's display.
Oh, Paul, well, that's wonderful.
The red fire is the flag, eh?
Sure, and the Tsar, and the Cossacks.
Revolution. Fire.
Well, you should have been there. That's all I can say. You should have been there.
Oh, was it a nice commencement, Grandma?
Wonderful. They get better every year.
Big class this year?
Oh, yes, sir. Must have been 2 acres. Everybody graduated. And much funnier speeches than last year.
We made a new skyrocket today, Grandma. Wait till you see it. Wonder why they don't have fireworks at commencements.
Don't make enough noise. You take a good commencement order, and he'll drown out a whole carload of fireworks and say as much too.
Don't the graduates ever say anything?
Nope. They just sit there in cap and gown, get their diplomas, and then along about 40 years from now, they suddenly say, "Where am I?"
Now, where was I?
Hello, Grandma. Have a nice day.
Hello, have a nice day. Don't I even get kissed?
There was a letter that came for you, Grandma. Did you get it?
A letter for me? I don't know anybody.
It was for you, though. Had your name on it.
That's funny. Where is it?
I don't know. Where's Grandma's letter, Mother?
What, dear?
Where's the letter that came for Grandma last week?
I don't know.
Who was it from? Did you notice?
Yes, it was on the outside.
Well, who was it?
The United States government.
Really? Wonder what they wanted.
There was one before that, too, from the same people. There was a couple of them.
Well, if any more come, I wish you'd give them to me.
Yes, Grandma.
I think I'll go out to Central Park and do a little snake hunting tomorrow.
God is the state. The state is God.
What's that?
God is the state. The state is God.
Who says that?
Trotsky.
Well, that's all right. I thought you said it.
It's nice for printing, you know. Good and short.
And
G-O-D space I-S space T-H-E space.
and so the beautiful princess came into the palace and kissed her mother, her father, and her grandmother.
Hello, darling.
Oh, Alice, I like your dress. It's new, isn't it? Where did you get it?
Looks nice and summery.
Oh, I took a walk during lunch hour.
You've been taking a lot of walks lately. That's the second new dress this week.
Oh, I like to brighten up the office once in a while. I'm known as the K. Francis of Kirby and Company. Well, what's new around here? In the way of plays, snakes, ballet dancing, or fireworks? Dad, I'll bet you've been down that cellar all day.
Huh?
I'm going back to the war play, Alice.
Ed's been tinkering with some Beethoven.
You know, you can mail a letter all the way from Nicaragua now for 2 peseros.
Really?
Kenneth, my virginity is this precious thing.
Listen, people, listen. I'm not home to dinner. A young gentleman is calling for me.
Really? Who is it?
Well, isn't that nice?
I did everything possible to keep him from coming here, but he's calling for me.
Why don't you both stay to dinner?
No, I want him to take you in easy doses. I've tried to prepare him a little, but just don't read him any plays, Mother, and don't let the snake bite him, Grandma, because I like him. And I wouldn't dance for him, Essie, because we're going to the Monte Carlo Ballet tonight.
Can't do anything. Who is he? President of the United States?
No, he's Vice President of Kirby and Company, Mr. Anthony Kirby Jr.
The boss's son.
That explains the new dresses.
And not coming home to dinner for 3 weeks.
Why, Sherlock Holmes?
Are you going to marry him?
Oh, of course, tonight. Meanwhile, I have to go put on my wedding dress.
Is he good looking?
Yes, in a word. Oh dear, what time is it?
I don't know. Anybody know what the time is?
The pinna might know.
It was about 5 o'clock, a couple of hours ago.
I might have known better than to ask you people. Now I really must go and get dressed. Will you let me know the minute he comes in?
Yes, of course, Alice.
Yes, but I mean the minute he comes.
Well, what do you think of that?
He seems to like him, if you ask me.
I should say so. She's got it bad.
Wouldn't it be wonderful if she married him? We could have the wedding right in this room.
Now, wait a minute, Penny. This is the first time he's ever called for the girl.
Well, you only called for me once.
You know, young people are different nowadays.
Oh, I don't know. Look at Ed and me. He only came for dinner once, and he just stayed.
Anyhow, I think it's wonderful, don't you, Grandma?
Well, she certainly seems happy about it.
There he is. Now remember what Alice said and be very nice to him.
Right this way.
Well, welcome to our little home.
How do you do?
I'm Alice's mother. Do come in. Here we are. This is Grandma, and that's Alice's father, and Alice's sister and her husband, Ed Carmichael. Now make yourself right at home.
I'm afraid you must be making a mistake. My card.
Wilbur C. Henderson, Internal Revenue Department.
That's right.
And what can we do for you?
Does a Mrs. Martina Vanderhoff live here?
Yes, sir. That's me.
Well, Mrs. Vanderhoff, the government wants to talk to you about a little matter of income tax.
Income tax?
Mother, is that Mr. Kirby?
Oh, no, it isn't, darling. It's an internal something or other.
Mr. Sycamore, these firecrackers are not going off. Look,
Not here to Pinna. Grandma's busy. Pardon me.
Now, Mrs. Vanderhoff, we've written you several letters about this, but have had no reply.
Oh, that's what those letters were.
I told you they were from the government.
According to our records, Mrs. Vanderhoff, you have never paid the income tax.
That's right.
Why not?
I don't believe in it.
Well, you own property, don't you?
I do.
And you receive a yearly income from it?
I do.
About between $3,000 and $4,000.
About that.
You've been receiving it for years.
I have, since 1901, if you want the exact date.
The government is only concerned from 1914 on. That's when the income tax started.
Well,
It seems, Mrs. Vanderhoff, that you owe the government 24 years back income tax.
Wait a minute. You can't go back that far. It's outlaw.
And what's your name?
What difference does that make?
Ever file a tax return?
No, sir.
And what was your income last year?
$28.50, wasn't it, Issy?
If you please. Now, Mrs. Vanderhoff, you know that's quite a penalty for not filing a tax return.
Penalty?
look, Mr. Henderson, let me ask you something. Suppose I pay you this money. Mind you, I don't say I'm paying it, but just for the sake of argument, what's the government going to do with it?
How do you mean?
Well, what do I get for my money? If I go into Macy's and buy something, there it is. I see it. What's the government give me?
Why, the government gives you everything. It protects you.
What from?
Well, invasion. Foreigners who might come over and take everything you've got.
Well, I don't think they're going to do that.
If you didn't pay an income tax, they would. How do you think the government pays for the Army and the Navy, all those battleships?
Oh, last time we used battleships was in the Spanish-American War. And what did we get out of it? Cuba. And we gave that back. I wouldn't mind paying if it were something sensible.
Sensible? Well, what about Congress and the Supreme Court and the president? We've got to pay them, don't we?
Not with my money. No, sir.
Now, wait a minute. I did not come here to argue with you. All I know is that you haven't paid an income tax and you've got to pay it.
They've got to show me.
We don't have to show you. I just told you. All those buildings down in Washington and interstate commerce and the Constitution.
The Constitution was paid for a long time ago. And interstate commerce? What is interstate commerce?
There are 48 states, see? And if there weren't interstate commerce, nothing could go from one state to another. See?
Why not? They got fences?
No, they haven't got fences. They've got laws. God, I've never come across anything like this before.
Well, I might pay $75, but that's all.
You'll pay every cent like everybody else. And I'll tell you something else. You'll go to jail if you don't pay. Do you hear that? That's the law. And if you think you're bigger than the law, you've got another thing coming.
Look out for those snakes on your way out.
Oh, heavens to Murgatroyd!
My goodness, he was mad, wasn't he?
It's not his fault. It's just that the whole thing is so silly. Say, he forgot his hat. Just the right size for me.
Who was that fellow anyway?
That must be Mr. Kirby.
Better make sure this time.
I hope he's good looking.
Right this way.
Oh, how do you do?
Good evening, everybody.
You must be Mr. Anthony Kirby Jr.
Why, yes, I am.
Well, Mr. Kirby, we've been expecting you. Welcome. This is really Mr. Kirby. Now, I'm Alice's mother, and that's Mr. Sycamore, and Alice's grandmother, and her sister Essie, and Essie's husband Ed. There. Now you know all of us. Make yourself at home.
Oh, thank you so much.
Is that Mr. Kirby, Mother?
Yes, Alice, it really is. He's lovely.
I'll be right down.
I hope I'm not keeping you from dinner.
No. Would you like a piece of candy?
No.
I forgot to introduce the pinna.
Oh, how do you do?
Wasn't I reading about your father in the newspaper the other day? Didn't he get indicted or something?
Oh, hardly that. He just testified before the Securities Commission.
Oh,
Yes, of course. I'm sure there was nothing crooked about it, the pinna. As a matter of fact, Alice has often told us what a lovely man your father is.
Well, I know my father couldn't get along without Alice. She knows more about the business than any of us.
You're awful young, Mr. Kirby, aren't you, to be vice president of a big place like that?
Well, you know what that means, vice president. All I have is a desk with my name on it.
Is that all?
don't you get a salary?
Well, a little. More than I'm worth, I suppose.
Oh, now you're being modest.
Sounds kind of dull to me. Wall Street, do you like it?
Well, the hours are short, and I haven't been there very long.
Just out of college, huh?
Well, yes, I knocked around for a little, had fun.
What did you do? Travel?
For a while, I went to Cambridge, for your Cambridge, England.
Say, what's an English commencement like? Did you see one?
Oh, yes, they're very, very impressive. Anyhow, now that the fun is over, I'm facing the world.
Well, you're certainly off to a good start, Mr. Kirby, Vice President.
And a rich father.
Oh, well, that's hardly my fault, to be fair.
So now I suppose you're all ready to settle down and get married.
Come now, Penny. I'm sure Mr. Kirby knows his own mind.
I wasn't making up his mind for him, was I, Mr. Kirby?
That's quite all right, Mrs. Sycamore.
You see?
You mustn't rush him, Mother.
Well, all I meant was he's bound to get married, and suppose the wrong girl gets him.
Well, here I am, a vision in blue. Apparently you've had time to get acquainted.
Oh, yes, indeed. We were just having a delightful talk about love and marriage.
Oh dear, I came down as fast as I could.
Oh, I didn't mind in the least.
Damn flies in the kitchen. Oh, Alice, you look beautiful. Where are you going?
I'm stepping out, Reba.
Stepping out, huh?
That must be Kolinkoff.
Oh, I better go let him in.
I think we better go, Tony.
Ah, my little Rebishka.
Oh, Mr. Kolenkoff, come right in. Yes, that's Kolenkoff, all right.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening, Mr. Kolinkoff.
Grandma, I have had a letter from Russia today. I saved you the stamp.
I practiced today, Mr. Kolinkoff.
My Pavlova.
Well, if you'll excuse us.
My little Alice, never have I seen you so magnificent.
Thank you. Tony, this is Mr. Kolenkoff, Essie's dancing teacher.
How do you do?
How do you do?
Will you pardon us, please? We're going to the Monte Carlo Ballet.
The Monte Carlo Ballet? It stinks.
Well, yes, well, goodbye. Goodbye, everybody.
Goodbye. I'm so glad to have met you all.
Goodbye.
Monte Carlo Ballet.
Isn't Mr. Kirby lovely? Well, come on, everybody. Dinner's ready.
He looks like a cousin of mine.
The ballet russe. Then you had the ballet.
I think if they get married, I'll put the altar right where the snakes are. Wouldn't it? You wouldn't mind, would you, Grandma?
Oh, not if the snakes don't.
Oh no, they'll want to get married in a church, his family and everything.
Of course.
Of course they would.
Quiet, everybody. Quiet. Well, sir, we've been getting along pretty good for quite a while now, and we're certainly much obliged. Remember, all we ask is to just go along and be happy in our own sort of way. Of course, we want to keep our health, but as far as anything else is concerned, we'll leave it to you. Thank you.
Of course, his family's going to want to come. Imagine Alice marrying a Kirby.
Think of that. Isn't it exciting?
Say, what are we having for dinner? I'm hungry.
I'll play the wedding march on the xylophone.
I could see them dance every night of the week. I think they're marvelous.
They are, aren't they? But I could walk into any theater and it would give me a thrill.
Well, it's been so lovely, Tony. I hate to have it over.
Oh, is it over? Do you have to go right away?
Not if you don't want to.
I don't know. You know something?
What?
I wouldn't trade 1 minute of this evening for all of the rice in China.
Really?
Cross my heart.
Is it there that much rice in China?
Oh, and then some. Well, I guess I ought to go.
I don't want you to go.
All right, I won't. When do you get your vacations?
Last 2 weeks in August.
I might take mine then too. Where are you going?
Oh, I don't know. I hadn't thought about it yet.
Going away, do you think?
I might not. I love the city in the summertime.
I do too.
But you always go away to Maine, don't you?
That's right. I would love the city in the summertime. Oh, you know what I mean, Alice, if you were there.
Well, it would be nice if you were here, Tony.
You know what you're saying, don't you?
What?
That you'd rather spend the summer with me than anyone else.
Was I?
Well, if it's true about summer, how do you feel about the winter?
Yes, I'd like that too.
And then there's spring and autumn. If you could see your way to clear those, Miss Sycamore.
I might.
Well, I guess that's the whole year. We haven't forgotten anything, have we?
No.
Well then.
Is that you, Alice? Oh, excuse me, Mr. Kirby. I had no idea. I didn't mean to interrupt anything.
No, not at all, Mrs. Sycamore.
I just came down for a manuscript. Then you can go right ahead. There it is. Sex takes a holiday. Well, good night, Tony.
Good night, Mrs. Sycamore.
Oh, I think you can call me Penny, don't you, Alice? At least I hope so.
What was that?
It's all right, Tony. That's father.
At this time of night?
Any time of night, any time of day.
You know, you're more beautiful, more lovely, more adorable than anyone else in the whole world.
Oh, don't, Tony.
What? My dear, just because of your mother? All mothers are like that. Alice, and Penny's a darling. You see, I'm even calling her Penny.
I don't mean that. Look, Tony, this is something I should have said a long time ago, but I didn't have the courage. I let myself be swept away because I love you so.
Darling.
No, wait, Tony. I want to make it clear to you. You're a whole different world, a whole different kind of people. Oh, I don't mean money or socially. That's too silly, but your family and mine, it couldn't work, Tony.
All right, have it your way. She can dance. That's why they pay her all that money. Because she can dance.
Well, I don't call that dancing what she does. Oh, hello. How was the ballet?
It was fine, Essie.
Wonderful.
Look, what do you people think? Ed and I just saw Fred Astaire and Ginger Rogers. Do you think she can dance, Mr. Kirby?
Well, yes, I always thought so.
What does she do anyhow? Now look, you're Fred Astaire and I'm Ginger Rogers.
Essie, please.
I only want him for a minute.
Essie, you're just as good as Ginger Rogers. We all agree.
You see, Ed?
Yeah. Come on, AC. We're budding in here.
They've been together all evening.
Good night, you two. AC, did you ask Grandma about having a baby?
Oh, yes, she said go right ahead.
You see, Tony, that's what it would be like.
Oh, I don't mind that. Anyway, we're not going to live with your family. It's just you and I.
No, it isn't. It's never quite that. I love them, Tony. I love them deeply. Some people could break away, but I couldn't. I know they do strange things, but they're gay and they're fun, and I don't know, there's a kind of nobility about them.
Alice, you talk as though only you could understand them. That's not true. Why, every family has got curious little trait. What of it? My father raises orchids at tens of $1,000s a bulb. Is that sensible? My mother believes in spirituality. That's just as bad as your mother writing plays, isn't it?
It goes deeper, Tony. Your mother believes in spiritualism because it's fashionable, and your father raises orchids because he can afford to. My mother writes plays because 8 years ago a typewriter was delivered here by mistake.
Darling, what of it?
And look at Grandma. After Grandpa passed, she succeeded in working her way from secretary to executive in no time, rare for a woman. But 35 years ago, she just quit one day. She started up to her office in the elevator and came right back down again. She just stopped. She could have been a rich woman, but she said it took too much time. So for 35 years, she just collected snakes and gone to circuses and commencements. It never occurs to any of them that...
Hello there, children.
Oh, good evening, Mrs. Vanderhoff.
Good evening. Hello, Grandma.
How's the weather? It looks like a nice summer evening.
Yes, it's lovely, Grandma.
Well, I'm off. Goodbye, Mr. Kirby. I've got a date with the policeman on the corner.
Policeman?
We've got a standing date. 12:30 every night. Known him since he was a little boy. He's really a doctor, but after he graduated, he came to me and said he didn't want to be a doctor. He'd always wanted to be a policeman. So I said, you go ahead and be a policeman, if that's what you want to be. And that's what he did. How'd you like my new hat?
It's very nice, Mrs. Vanderhoff.
Yeah, I like it. The government gave it to me.
Oh, excuse me. I didn't know you were here.
It's all right, Reba.
I just wanted some candy. Oh, yeah. You don't want any, do you?
No, Reba.
Did you have a nice dinner?
Yes, Reba.
Was the ballet nice?
Yes, Reba.
That's nice. Well, I guess I'll just leave then.
Now you see what I mean. Could you explain any of this to your father? You couldn't, Tony. I love you, but I love them too. It's just no use.
There's just one thing you've said that matters, and it's that you love me.
But Tony.
But darling, don't you think other people have the same problem? Everyone has a family.
But not like mine.
They want you to be happy, don't they?
Of course they do. But they can't change. Tony, I wouldn't want them to.
They won't have to change. They're charming, lovable people, just as you are. Everything will work out. You're worrying about something that may never come up.
Oh, Tony, am I?
All that matters right now is that we love each other, isn't it?
Yes. Oh, Tony.
Now, I'd like to see a little gaiety around here. First, you thank the young man for getting engaged to you.
Thank you, Mr. Kirby, for getting engaged to me.
And then you tell him, what was the first thing about him that took your girlish heart away?
The back of your head.
Huh?
Uh-huh. It wasn't your charm and it wasn't your money. It was the back of your head. I just liked it.
So what happened when I turned around?
Oh, I got used to it after a while.
Oh, Alice, think of it. We're pretty lucky, aren't we?
Won't it be funny tomorrow, seeing each other at the office and just going on as though nothing had happened?
No. Thank goodness I'm vice president. I can dictate to you all day. Dear Mrs. Sycamore, I love you. I love you. I love you.
Depina, we did a good night's work.
That's what, 500 Black Panthers, 300 willow trees, and 8 dozen junior kitty bombers.
Pretty good. Oh, hello, Alice. Did you just come in?
Oh, no, I've been home quite a while.
Have a nice evening.
Oh, I had a beautiful evening, Father.
Say, I'd like you to take a look at this new red fire. Will you turn on the lights, Depina? I want Alice to get the full effect.
What, Father?
Take a look at this new red fire.
Effects on, red sparkler, effects off.
Oh, darn, it's not red. But it's beautiful, right, Alice?
Oh, yes, Father. Everything's beautiful. It's the most beautiful fire in the world.
All right, I said to him, you can take your old job and...
I'm ready to read you the play, Miss Monkton, anytime you are.
Just a minute, just a minute.
The only thing is, I hope you don't mind me mentioning this, but you don't drink when you're acting, do you, Miss Wellington? I'm just asking, of course.
I'm glad you brought that up. Once a play opens, I never touch a drop. The minute I enter the stage door, the bottle gets put away until intermission.
Have you been on the stage a long time, Miss Wellington?
All my life, I've played everything. Ever seen Peg on My Heart?
Yes.
Me too. It was good. Say, you're cute.
Say, he's married.
Well, so are you ready to go up to my room and start?
All right, dearie, I'm ready. Well, when I see snakes, it's time to lay down.
Oh dear. Oh dear. Oh, but those are real, Miss Wellington. Those are real. Oh.
She's out like a light. Better let her sleep it off.
You think she'll be all right?
Yes, but I wouldn't cast her in the religious play.
Well, I suppose I'll just have to wait.
Next time you meet an actress on the bus, Penny, I think I'd send her the play instead of bringing her home to read it.
Ed, I wish you'd stop printing and take those love dreams around. You got to get back in time to play for me when Kolenkoff comes.
Kolenkoff? Coming tonight?
Yes, I had to change it from tomorrow on account of Alice.
Oh, big doings around here tomorrow night, huh?
Oh, isn't it exciting? You know, I'm so nervous. You think it was me he was engaged to instead of Alice?
Do you think he'll be like mother and father? Ed, what are you doing now?
Penny, did you see the new mask I made last night?
Oh,
Guess who it is?
Okay. Don't tell me now, Aid. Wait a minute. Show me your mask again. Well, Ellen of Troy.
It's Mrs. Roosevelt.
Oh.
You know, the nice things about these Meccano sets is that you can make so many different types. Last week, it was Empire State Building.
What is it this week?
Well, the Queen Mary.
Hasn't got the right hat on.
The Peanut, would you open the door and see if there's a man standing in front of the house?
Why? What for?
Well, the last 2 days when I've been out delivering candy, I think a man's been following me.
Ed, you're crazy.
No, I'm not. He follows me, and he stands and watches the house.
Really? I'll take a look and see.
I don't see why anyone would follow you, Ed.
Well, there's been a lot of kidnapping going on, Grandma.
Yes, but not of Ed.
There's nobody out there at all.
Sure.
Positive. I just saw him walk away.
Oh, it might have been anybody walking along the street. Ed, will you hurry and get back?
Oh, all right.
Want to go down now to the cellar, Mr. Sycamore, and finish packing the fireworks?
Yeah, but we got to take the stuff out to Mount Vernon in the morning.
Mother, may I borrow some paper? I'm making up a list for Reba tomorrow night. What's happened? Is she giving a performance?
No, she's not acting. Alice, she's really drunk.
Look, Mother, I'm coming home at 3 o'clock tomorrow. Will you have everything down in the cellar by that time? The typewriter, the snakes, the xylophone, the printing press?
And Miss Wellington?
And Miss Wellington. That'll give me some time to arrange the table and fix the flowers.
Well, the Kirbys are certainly going to get the wrong impression of this house.
You'll do all that, won't you, Mother?
Of course, dear.
And I think we better have cocktails ready by 7:15 in case they happen to come a little early. I wonder if I ought to let Reba cook the dinner. What do you think, Grandma?
Now, Alice, I wouldn't worry. From what I've seen of the boy, I'm sure the Kirbys are very nice people. And if everything isn't so elaborate tomorrow night, it's all right too.
Oh, I'm not trying to impress them or pretend we're anything that we're not. I just want everything to go off well.
No reason why it shouldn't, Alice.
Well, we're all going to do everything we can to make sure it's a nice party.
Oh, my darlings, I love you. You're the most wonderful family in the world, and I'm the happiest girl in the world. I didn't know anybody could be so happy. Oh, this last week has been like floating. He's so wonderful, Grandma. Oh, just seeing him, you don't know what it does to me.
Just seeing him for lunch and dinner, and until 4 o'clock in the morning, and at 9 o'clock next morning at the office again, and there he is. Just seeing him, huh?
I don't care. I'm in love.
Nice, isn't it? It's nice to see her so happy.
Yes, I remember when I was engaged to Paul, how happy I was. And, I still feel that way.
I know. Nice the way Ed and Essie get along too, isn't it?
You suppose DePinna will ever marry anyone, Grandma?
Oh, dear, I wish she'd wake up. If you're going to read through the play tonight.
Mrs. Sycamore, look what I found. Remember?
Oh, why, of course, it's my painting of you as the discus thrower. Look, Grandma.
I remember it. So you haven't changed much, DePinna.
Is it very noticeable?
Well, it was a long time ago, just before I stopped painting. Let me see. That's 8 years ago.
Too bad you never finished it, Mrs. Sycamore.
I always meant to finish it, but I just started to write a play one day, and that was that. I never painted again.
Just as well, too. I was going to have to strip next.
My goodness. Who would have thought that day I came to deliver the typewriter that I was going to stay here for 8 years?
The flower lady was here for 5 years, just ahead of you.
Hey, why did she leave anyway? I forgot.
Oh, she didn't leave. She died.
She was such a nice woman. Remember the funeral, Grandma? We never knew her full name, and it was kind of hard to get her certificate.
What was the name we finally made up for her?
Martina Vanderhoff. We gave him your name.
Oh, yes, I remember.
It was a lovely thought, because otherwise she never would have got all those flowers.
Yeah, it certainly was. And it didn't hurt me any. Not bothered by mail anymore, and I haven't had a telephone call from that date to this.
I really wish you'd finish this painting sometime. I'd kind of like to have it.
You know what? I think I'll do some work on it right now, right tonight. Look, DePinna, you go down in the cellar, put on your costume, and bring up the easel. It's still down there, right?
I think so.
Oh. Now, where did I put my palette and brushes?
My little Rebishka.
Oh, Mr. Kolenkoff.
Hello, Mr. Kolenkoff.
Madame Sycamore, I greet you. What is that?
It's a painting of DePinna that Penny did.
It stinks.
I know.
What is that?
Oh, she's an actress, a friend of Penny's.
She is drunk, no?
She is drunk, yes. How are you, Mr. Kolenkoff?
Magnificent. Life is chasing around inside of me like a squirrel.
This, huh? What's new in Russia? Any more letters from your friend in Moscow?
I have just heard from. I saved you the stamp. They sent him to Siberia.
They have, huh? How's he like it?
He has escaped and gone back to Russia.
Good evening, Mr. Kolenkoff. I'm ready for my dance lesson. I just have to find my slippers.
And tonight you will really work, Pavlova. Tonight we will take something new.
Is he making any progress, Kolenkoff?
Confidentiality? She stinks.
Well, as long as she's having fun.
You sure do tickle me, Mr. Kolenkoff.
You are a great woman, Reba. What do you think of the Soviet government?
The what?
I withdraw the question. What do you think of this government?
Oh, I like it fine. I'm on relief.
Oh, yeah, and you like it?
Uh, it's fine, sir. Only thing is, you got to go around to the place every week to get it. And sometimes you can get to stand in line pretty near half an hour. Government ought to run more efficiently than that, don't you think, Grandma?
Yeah. Government ought to stop sending me letters. Want me to be at the United States Marshal Office Tuesday morning at 10 o'clock. Look at that.
Ah, income tax. They have got you, Grandma.
I'm supposed to give him a whole lot of money so as to keep Reba on relief.
You don't say, Grandma? You're going to pay for it from now on?
Well, that's what they want.
You mean I can come right here and get it instead of standing in that line?
No, Reba. I'm afraid you will have to waste a full half an hour of your time every week.
Well, I don't like it. It breaks up my week.
She should have been in Russia when the revolution came. Then she would have stood in line. A bread line. Ah, Grandma, what they have done to Russia. Think of it. The Grand Duchess Olga Katerina, a cousin of the Tsar, she is a waitress in Chard's restaurant. I ordered baked beans from her only yesterday. It broke my heart. A crazy world, Grandma.
Oh, the world's not so crazy, Kolinkoff. It's the people in it. Life's pretty simple if you just relax.
How can you relax in times like these?
Well, if they'd relax, there wouldn't be times like these. That's my point. Life is kind of beautiful if you let it come to you. But the trouble is, people forget that. I know I did. I was right in the thick of it. Fighting and scratching and clawing. Regular jungle. One day, it kind of struck me. I wasn't having any fun.
So you did what?
Just relax. 35 years ago that was, and I've been a happy woman ever since.
Oh, good evening, Mr. Klankoff.
Miss Alice, I have not seen you to present my congratulations. May you be very happy and have many children.
Thank you.
Ah, love. Love is all that is left in this world, Grandma.
Yes, but there's plenty of that.
And soon, Stalin will take that away too, I tell you.
It happened again. There was a man following me every place I went.
Nonsense, Ed. It's your imagination.
No, it isn't. It happened every time I go out to deliver candy.
Well, maybe he wants a piece.
It's all right for you to laugh, Grandma, but he keeps following me.
You do not know what following is. In Russia, everybody is followed. I was followed right out of Russia.
Of course. You see, Ed, the whole thing is just your imagination.
Where do you want me to pose?
Ooh.
Sorry, Mr. Kolinkoff. I couldn't find my slippers.
We have a hot night for it, my Pavlova, but art is only achieved through perspiration.
Why, that's wonderful. Did you hear that, Grandma? Art is only achieved through perspiration.
Yes, but it helps if you get a little talent with it.
You are ready? We begin. Now, pirouette, pirouette. Come on, you can do it.
Okay, could you stay still, please, Apina?
A little freer with the hands. The music must be free too. At last.
Mrs. Sycamore.
What, Reba? Wait.
Can you maybe add me? Good evening.
Oh, how do you do?
How do you do?
Are we too early?
No, it's perfectly all right. We're glad to see you.
Oh, why, yes, only we thought it was to be tomorrow night.
Tomorrow night?
What, Tony? How could you possibly?
I don't know. I thought.
Really, Tony, this is most embarrassing.
No, it's perfectly all right. Why, we weren't doing a thing.
No, just a quiet evening at home.
That's right. This is Alice's mother, Mrs. Sycamore.
How do you do?
Alice's sister, Mrs. Carmichael, Mr. Carmichael, Mr. Kolenkoff, Depina.
How do you do?
Don't mind my costume. I'll take it right off.
Depina, would you tell Mr. Sycamore to come right up? Tell him that Mr. and Mrs. Kirby are here.
And tell him to put his pants on.
All right. Excuse me.
Tell Alice that you're Alice! Alice, dear!
What is it?
Will you come down, dear? We've got a surprise for you.
Oh, don't be alarmed, Mrs. Kirby. They're perfectly harmless. Of course, we're so used to them around the house. Here we go.
I'm sorry to trouble you, but snakes happen to.
I feel very uncomfortable about this. Tony, how could you have done such a thing?
I'm so sorry, Father. I was convinced it was tonight.
It was very careless of you. Very.
Oh, now anyone can get mixed up, Mr. Kirby.
Penny, what about some dinner for these folks? Huh? They've come for dinner, you know.
Oh, please don't bother. We're really not hungry.
But it's not a bother. It's not a bit of a bother. Ed, tell Reba to run to the A&P and get half a dozen of bottles of beers and some canned salmon. Do you like canned salmon, Mr. Kirby?
Oh, please, don't trouble Mrs. Sycamore. I have indigestion anyway.
Oh, I'm sorry. How about you, Mrs. Kirby?
Oh, I'm very fond of it.
Oh, you can have Frankfurters if you'd rather.
Oh, either will do fine, thank you.
Well, Ed, make it Frankfurters and some canned salmon and some Campbell soup. Got that, Ed?
Okay.
The A&P is just around the corner, and Frankfurters don't take any time to boil.
And this is Alice's father, Mr. Sycamore, Mr. and Mrs. Kirby.
How do you do?
You do.
Oh dear, I hope you forgive my appearance.
This is Mr. Sycamore's busiest time of year, just before the 4th of July. He always...
Uh-oh.
Darling, I'm the most dull-witted person in the world. I thought it was tonight.
Why, Tony? I thought you... Oh, I'm so sorry. I can't imagine. Why, how wasn't... Have you all met each other?
Yes, indeed.
How do you do, Alice?
Oh, how do you do, Mrs. Kirby? I'm afraid I'm not very presentable.
Darling, you look lovely.
Of course she does. Don't let this upset you, dear. We've all just met each other a night sooner, that's all.
Of course.
I was planning such a nice party tomorrow night.
Well, we'll come again tomorrow night.
There you are, Alice. Am I forgiven?
I guess so. It's just that we'd better go see about getting you some dinner.
Oh, that's all done. All attended to.
All attended to? But Mother, Mr. Kirby suffers from indigestion. He can only eat certain things.
Well, I asked him what he wanted, Alice.
Yes, but...
No. It's not as serious as all that. Just because I have a little indigestion.
Perhaps it is not indigestion at all, Mr. Kirby. Perhaps you have stomach ulcers.
Don't be absurd, Mr. Kolenkoff.
You mustn't mind Mr. Kolenkoff, Mr. Kirby. He's a Russian, and Russians are inclined to look on the dark side.
All right, I'm Russian. but a friend of mine died from stomach ulcers.
Really,
Mr. Kolenkoff, please. Mr. Kirby has indigestion, and that's all.
All right, let him wait.
Tell me, Mr. Kirby, how do you find business conditions? Are we pretty much out of the depression?
What? Yes, I think so. Of course, it all depends.
But you figure things are going to keep on improving.
Broadly speaking, yes. As a matter of fact, industry is now operating at 64% of full capacity, as against 82% in 1925. Of course, in 1929...
There once was a young lady from Wheeling who had a remarkable feeling.
That may seem a little strange to you people, but that's a friend of Mrs. Sycamore's. She came to dinner and was overcome by the heat.
Yes. Some people feel it more than others. You know, perhaps they'd better see if she's all right.
It's awfully hot. You usually escape all this hot weather, don't you, Mrs. Kirby, up in Maine?
Well, as a rule, I do. I had to come down this week, however, for the flower show.
Mother wouldn't miss it for the world. The blue ribbon is the high spot of her year.
I won a ribbon at the flower show once for raising onions. Remember, Alice?
That was a garden show, Essie.
Oh, yeah.
Hello, what's this? I didn't know there were little children in the house.
Oh, this is mine.
Really? Well, I suppose every man has his hobby. Or do you use this as a model of some kind?
No, I just play with it.
I see.
Maybe you'd better off it with you. If you had a hobby like that, Dad, instead of raising orchids.
Oh, do tell us about your orchids, Mr. Kirby. They take 6 years before they bloom, don't they?
Oh, some take longer than that. I've got one coming along now that I've waited 10 years for. Of course, during that time, they require scrupulous care. I remember a bulb that I was very fond of.
Ah, Viva, there you are. Did you get everything?
Oh, yes, only they didn't have frankfurters, so I got pickled pig's feet.
Ah, good. Well, everything is under control.
Mr. Kirby, please tell them all about the orchids. I know they'd love to hear it. And excuse me.
Kind of an expensive hobby, isn't it, Mr. Kirby?
Yes, it is, but I feel that if a hobby gives one sufficient pleasure, it's never expensive.
That's very true.
You see, I need something to relieve the daily nerve strain. After a week in Wall Street, I'd go crazy if I didn't have something like that. A lot of men I know have yachts, just for that very reason.
Why don't they give up Wall Street?
How's that?
I was joking.
I think it's necessary for everyone to have a hobby. Of course, it's more to me than a hobby, but my great solace is spiritualism.
Spiritualism? Now, Mrs. Kirby, everybody knows that's a fake.
To me, Mrs. Sycamore's spiritualism is, well, I'd rather not discuss it.
Remember, Penny, you've got one or two hobbies of your own.
Yes, but not silly ones.
Well, I don't think it matters what the hobby is. It's important. The important thing is to have one.
I dream of being a ballet dancer.
Yes, to be ideal, a hobby should improve the body as well as the mind. The Romans were a great people. Why? What was their hobby? Wrestling. In wrestling, you have to think quick with the mind and act quick with the body.
Yes, but I'm afraid wrestling is not very practical for most of us. I wouldn't make a very good showing as a wrestler.
You could be a great wrestler. You are built for it. Look!
Oh, Mr. Kirby, are you hurt?
Are you all right, Father?
Oh, I am sorry, but when you wrestle again, Mr. Kirby, you will of course be better prepared.
I do not intend to wrestle again, Mr. Kolenkoff.
I think if you don't mind, perhaps we'd better be going.
Oh, Mrs. Kirby, please don't go. Mr. Kirby, please. I've ordered some scrambled eggs for you and plain salad. Oh, please don't go.
I am sorry if I did something wrong, and I apologize.
I can't tell you how sorry I am, Mr. Kirby. If I'd been here.
That's quite all right.
Of course it is. It's all right, Alice. We're not going.
Well, that was exciting for a minute, wasn't it?
You were talking about your orchids, Mr. Kirby. Do you raise many different varieties?
I'm afraid I've quite forgotten about my orchids.
I'm awfully sorry.
Well, I'm sure dinner won't be any time at all now.
Would you like some candy? I've got some freshly made.
My doctor does not permit me to eat candy, thank you.
But these are nothing, Mr. Kirby. Just coconut and marshmallow and fudge.
Don't, Essie.
Miss Alice.
Excuse me. What is it, Reba?
The eggs fell down the sink.
Make some more, quick.
I don't have any more.
Well, go and get some.
Oh, all right.
And hurry. I'm so sorry. There'll be a little delay, but everything will be ready in a minute.
I've certainly put you people in a lot of trouble with my stupidity.
Not at all, Tony.
Look, why don't we all play a game of some sort while we're waiting?
Oh, that'd be fine.
Mother, I don't think Mr. and Mrs.
I
Kirby...
have an idea. I have a wonderful trick with a glass of water.
No, Mr. Kolenkoff.
I'm sure they'd love this game. It's perfectly harmless.
Please, Mother.
I'm not really very good at games, Mrs. Sycamore.
Oh, but any fool could play this game.
Oh, you might be very good at Monopoly.
Please, Father.
All you do is write your name on a piece of paper, right?
But, Mother, Mr. Kirby doesn't want to.
Oh, he'll love it. Now, write your name on the piece of paper.
Mother, what game is this?
I used to play in school. It's called Forget Me Not. Now, I'm going to call out 5 words, just anything at all. And as I say each word, you're to put down the very first thing that comes into your mind. Is that clear? Okay. For instance, if I say grass, you might put down green. Just whatever you think of, you see. Or if I call out chair, you might put table. It shows that the reactions people have to different things. You see how simple it is, Mr. Kirby?
Come on, Father, be a sport.
Very well, I shall be happy to play it.
You see, Alice? He does want to play. Now then, are you ready?
Ready.
I just love games.
Okay, now remember, you must play fair. Put down the first thing that comes into your mind.
I understand.
Everybody ready? Okay, the first word is potatoes. Potatoes. Ready for the next one? Okay, bathroom.
Mother.
Bathroom. Got that?
Go ahead.
Okay. All ready? Lust.
Mother, that's not exactly what you
Nonsense, Alice. That word's all right.
Mother, it's not all right.
Oh, I don't know. It seems like a perfectly fair word.
Okay, you see? Okay, now you mustn't interrupt the game.
May I have that last word again?
Lust, Mr. Kirby.
I've got it.
This is quite the game, isn't it?
Shh, Grandma. All ready? Honeymoon. All right, honeymoon. The last word is sex.
Mother.
Everyone's got sex? All right, now give me all your papers.
And what happens now?
Okay, this is the best part. Now I read out your reactions.
I see. It's really quite an interesting game.
I knew you'd like it. I'll read your paper first, Mr. Kirby. This is Mr. Kirby. Potatoes, steak. Well, that's very good. You see how they go together?
I just happened to think of it.
Well, that's very good. Bathroom, toothpaste. Lust, unlawful. Isn't that nice? Honeymoon, trip. Yes. And sex, male. Oh, yes, of course, you are. That's wonderful.
Thank you. It's more than just a game, you know. It's sort of an experiment in psychology, isn't it?
Yes, it is, isn't it? It just shows you how your mind works.
Now we'll see how Mrs. Kirby's mind works. Ready? This is Mrs. Kirby. Potatoes, starch. I know just what you mean, Mrs. Kirby. Oh dear. Bathroom, Mr. Kirby.
What's that?
Bathroom, Mr. Kirby.
I don't quite follow that, my dear.
I don't know. I just thought of you in connection with it. After all, you are in there a good deal, Anthony. Bathing, shaving, and well, you do take a long time.
Indeed. I hadn't realized that I was being selfish in the matter. Go on, Mrs. Sycamore.
I think it's a very silly game and we have to stop it.
Yes.
No, please, go on, Mrs. Sycamore.
Oh, where was I?
Lust.
Oh, yes, lust. Human.
Human? Really, Miriam?
I just meant, Anthony, that lust is, after all, a human emotion.
I don't agree with you, Miriam. Lust is not a human emotion. It is depraved.
Very well, Anthony. I'm wrong.
Really, it's the most pointless game.
No, I find it rather interesting. Will you go on, Mrs. Sycamore? What was the next word?
Honeymoon.
Ah, yes. And what was Mrs. Kirby's answer?
Honeymoon, dull.
Did you say dull?
What I meant, Anthony, was that the hot spring was not very gay that season. All those old people sitting on the porch all afternoon and nothing to do at night.
Oh, that was not your reaction at the time, as I recall it.
Father, this is only a game.
It's a very illuminating game. Go on, Mrs. Sycamore.
Okay. Oh, well, that one's all right. Mr. Kirby, sex, Wall Street.
Wall Street.
Wall Street?
It was just the first thing that came to my head.
What does it mean?
Oh, I don't know what it means, Anthony. It's just that you're always talking about Wall Street, even when... Oh, I don't know what I meant. Would you mind terribly, Alice, if we don't stay for dinner? I'm afraid this game has given me a headache.
I understand, Mrs. Kirby.
Yes, possibly we should postpone the dinner, if you don't mind.
Oh, but you're coming tomorrow night, aren't you?
I'm afraid we have another engagement tomorrow night.
Perhaps we'd better postpone the whole affair a little while. The hot weather and...
I think we are being quite ungracious. Father, of course we'll stay tonight.
I have a very terrible headache, Tony.
Come, Tony. I'm sure everyone understands.
Well, I don't. I think we ought to stay.
No, Tony.
What?
We were fools, Tony, ever to think it would work. It won't. Mr. Kirby, I won't be at the office tomorrow. I won't be there at all anymore.
Alice, what are you talking about?
I'm sorry, my dear. I'm very sorry. Are you ready, Miriam? No, it's been very nice to have met you all.
Yes, lovely.
Are you coming, Tony?
No, Father, I am not.
Stay right where you are, everybody. Don't move.
Miriam, are you all right?
I haven't done anything.
I demand an explanation.
Keep your mouth shut, you. Everyone stay put.
What does this mean?
What's your name?
Grandma, what is this?
This is an outrage.
Shut up. You, what's your name?
Edward Carmichael. I haven't done anything.
You haven't, huh?
What's this all about?
Department of Justice.
Oh my goodness, J-Man.
Ed, what have you done?
I haven't done anything.
What's the boy done, officer?
That door lead to the cellar?
Yes.
Take a look. Ever seen these before?
There's my brochure.
You print this stuff, huh?
Yes, sir.
And you put them in boxes of candy to get them in people's homes?
But it didn't mean anything.
You didn't. You didn't mean dynamite the Supreme Court, poison the revolution with red fire. God is the state is God.
But I didn't mean that. I just like to print.
Now, officer, the government is in no danger from Ed. Printing is his hobby, that's all. He prints anything.
He does, eh?
I never heard of such nonsense.
I refuse to stay here and
Hey, there's no need for.
Shut up, you. I've been watching you and this house long enough to know that you also got enough gunpowder in here to blow up the whole city.
No, but we only use that.
Keep still. Everybody in this house is under arrest.
Oh,
what's
good
that?
heavens.
Now, look here, officer. This is all nonsense.
There once was a lady from Wheeling who had a remarkable feeling. Ooh, oh, wow, you're cute.
Fireworks!
Miriam, are you all right?
Grandma,
Mr. Cullencott.
Do not worry, it's all right.
I have to go down there.
Good Lord.
My manuscripts.
My xylophones.
Quiet! Line up! You people, line up, all of you.
Well, well, well.
For appearance in the West Side Court this morning, after spending the night in jail, the defendants were brought before the judge and given suspended sentences for manufacturing fireworks without a permit?
Yeah, kept me in the same cell with the strip teaser from a burlesque show.
I could hear Mr. Kirby raising heck in his cell. Boy, he was mad.
And Mrs. Kirby and that stripper, they were fighting all night.
A whole lot about Mr. Kirby here. Anthony W. Kirby, head of Kirby & Co. of Wall Street, who has among those apprehended declared he was in no way interested in a manufacturer of fireworks, but refused to say why he was on the premises at the time of the raid. Mr. Kirby is a member of the Union Club, the Racket Club, the Harvard Club, and the National Geographic Society. My, he certainly is a joiner.
All those rich men are. I suppose after all this, Mr. Tony won't be marrying Miss Alice?
Oh, it's too bad. She sure loves that boy.
What does she want to go away for? Where is she going?
I don't know. The mountains, someplace. And she's going all right, no matter what they say. I know Miss Alice when she has that look in her eye.
It really is too bad.
Sure is. How's your hand, Pinna?
Oh, it's better, thank you. Is there some more olive oil?
In the salad bowl in the kitchen. Come on.
Thanks.
Well, she's really going, Penny.
Yes. Somehow I feel it's all our fault.
No, it's mine. It's mine more than yours, Penny. All these years I've just been going along, enjoying myself, when maybe I should have been thinking more about Alice.
Don't say that, Paul. You've been a wonderful father and a wonderful husband too.
No, I haven't. Maybe if I'd gone ahead and been an architect. I don't know. Something about Alice I could have been proud of. I felt that all last night looking at Mr. Kirby.
But we've been so happy, Paul.
I know, but maybe that's not enough. I used to think it was, but kind of mixed up now.
What time is she going?
Pretty soon. Train leaves at 7:30.
Oh, if only she'd see Tony.
But she won't. He's been trying all day. He's walking around the block again.
I feel so sorry for him. Well, Grandma,
Now, Penny, let the girl go.
Grandma.
So she goes to the Adirondacks. She'll be back. You can take just so much Adirondacks and then you come home.
Oh, but it's all so terrible. I just didn't think that.
Well, in a way, but it has its bright side too.
How do you mean?
Well, Mr. Kirby getting into the patrol car for one thing, and the expression on his face when he and Mr. Kolenkoff had to take a bath together. I'll never forget that if I live to be 100. And I warned you people, I intend to. If I can have things like that happen to me.
Oh, but it was even worse with Mrs. Kirby. When the matron stripped her, there was a burlesque dancer there, and she kept singing on a strip song while Mrs. Kirby undressed.
Oh, Bar Harbor is going to see pretty dull to the Kirbys this summer.
Oh, Alice, dear.
Now, Penny.
Ed will bring your bags down when you're ready, Alice.
Thank you.
Do you want to take some candy along for the train?
No, thank you.
Really, Alice, you could just be just as alone here as you could in the mountains. You could stay right in your room the whole time.
No, Mother. I want to be by myself, away from everybody. I love you all. You know that. But I just have to go away for a while. I'll be all right. Father, did you phone for a cab?
No, I didn't. I didn't think you wanted one.
Oh, I told Ed to tell you, Paul. Didn't he tell you?
Oh, he told me. I just forgot.
Oh, I wished I lived in a family that didn't always forget everything, that behaved the way that other people's family do. I'm sick of cornflakes and everything. Why can't we be like other people? Roast beef and 2 green vegetables, a place you can bring your friends to without...
Well, this is all quite unpleasant.
Oh, boy, this olive oil sure feels good, but I'm going to smell kind of fishy.
How's your hand, Depina? Hand still hurting you?
No, it's better.
Everything burnt up, huh? Downstairs?
Everything. And my Roman costume.
I told you there was a bright side to everything, all except my 23 years back income tax. I got another letter every day.
Say, what are you gonna do about that, Grandma?
Well, I had a kind of idea yesterday. It may not work, but I'm trying it anyhow.
Good evening, everyone.
Oh, Mr. Kolenkoff.
Forgive me. The door was open. You would excuse my coming today. I realize you are upset.
Oh, that's all right, Mr. Kolenkoff.
I don't think I can take a lesson today, Mr. Kolenkoff. I don't feel up for it.
Oh, but do stay for supper. We've got all that food and somebody's got to eat it.
I will be happy to, Miss Sycamore. Thank you. Now, I wonder if I know you well enough to ask you of a great favor.
Oh, why, of course. What is it?
You have heard me talk of my friend, the Grand Duchess Olga Katrina.
Yes.
She is a great woman, the Grand Duchess. Her cousin was the Tsar of Russia, and today she is a waitress in Chad's restaurant, Times Square.
Oh, yeah, we know. If there's anything you can do for you, Mr. Kolenkoff.
I tell you, the Grand Duchess has not had a good meal since before the revolution.
Oh, she must be hungry.
And today the Grand Duchess not only has the day off, but it is also the anniversary of Peter the Great, a remarkable man.
Oh, Mr. Kolenkoff, if you mean you'd like the Grand Duchess to come to dinner, why, we'd be honored.
Oh, yes.
Thank you.
I can hardly wait to meet her.
Where is she now?
He is outside on the street waiting.
Oh.
Grand Duchess, you may come in.
Oh, Paul, straighten your tie. I see your dress. How do I look? All right?
You know, if this keeps on, I want to live to be 150.
Grand Duchess Olga Katerina. Your Highness, permit me to present Madame Sycamore, Madame Carmichael, Grandma, Mr. Carmichael, Mr. Sycamore, and the Pida.
Welcome to our humble home, Your Highness.
Thank you. You're most kind. How soon is dinner?
Oh, it'll be quite soon, Your Highness, very soon.
I do not mean to be rude, but I must be back to the restaurant by 8 o'clock. I am substituting for another waitress.
I will make sure you are on time.
You know, Your Highness, I think you waited on me in Childs once, the 72nd Street place.
No, that was my sister.
The Grand Duchess Natasha.
I work in Times Square.
Oh.
Quite a lot of your folks living over here now, aren't there?
Oh, yes, many. My uncle, the Grand Duke Sergei, is another elevator man at Macy's, a very nice man. Then there is my cousin, Prince Alexei. He will not speak to the rest of us because he works at Hattie Carnegie. He is in ladies' underwear.
When he was selling hot dogs at Coney Island, he was willing to talk to you.
Mr. Kolenkoff, our time is coming. My sister, Natasha, is studying to become a manicurist. Uncle Sergei, they have promised to make floor walker. And next month, I get transferred to 5th Avenue, Childs. From there, it is only a step to Troughs. And then we will see what Prince Alexei says.
Well, I think you've got him.
You're telling me.
Your Highness, we have to watch the time.
Yes, I must not be late. The manager does not like me. He is communist.
Oh, well, we'll hurry things up. Essie, why don't you go and see if you can help Reba?
I will help too. I'm very good cook.
Oh no, but Your Highness, it's your day off.
Oh, I don't mind. I love to cook. Come, Kolenkoff. If they have sour cream and pot cheese, I will make some blintzes.
Ah, blintzes! Come, Pavlova, we show you something.
Gee, she's got a wonderful face for a mask. I can't wait for Ed to meet her.
Hey, the Duchess is all right, isn't she? Hey, Duchess, can I help?
Really, she's a very nice woman. You know, considering she's a Grand Duchess.
Wonderful what some people go through, isn't it? And still keep kind of gay, too.
She made me forget about everything for a minute.
I'd better call that cab, I suppose.
No, wait, Paul. Here they are. Maybe Tony has something that...
And will you bring my bags down?
Don't do it, Ed. You know what? You've got the stubbornest daughter in all 48 states.
That must be the cab.
Well, if it is, it's certainly wonderful service.
Is Tony here?
Right this way.
Ah, good evening.
How do you do?
Good evening.
Forgive me for intruding. Tony, I want you to come with me. Your mother is very upset.
Very well, Father. Goodbye, Alice.
Goodbye, Tony.
I need hardly say that this is as painful to Mrs. Kirby and myself as it is to you people. I'm sorry, but I'm sure you understand.
Well, yes, and in a way, no. Now, I'm not the kind of person who tries to run other people's lives, but the fact is, Mr. Kirby, I don't think these two young people have got as much sense as you and I have.
Grandma, will you please not do this?
I'm just talking to Mr. Kirby. A cat can look at a king, can't she? Mr. Kirby, I suppose that after last night, you think this family is kind of crazy.
No, I would not say that, although I am not accustomed to going out to dinner and spending the night in jail.
Well, you've got to remember you came on the wrong night. Now tonight, I'll bet you nothing will happen at all. Maybe.
It was not merely last night that convinced Mrs. Kirby and myself that this engagement would be unwise.
Father, I can handle my own affairs. Alice, for the last time, will you marry me?
No, Tony. I know exactly what your father means, and he's right.
No, he's not, Alice.
Alice, you're in love with this boy, and you're not marrying him because we're the kind of people we are.
Grandma.
I know. You think the two families wouldn't get along. Well, maybe they wouldn't. But who says they're right and we're wrong?
I didn't say that, Grandma. I only feel...
Well, what I feel is that Tony's too nice a boy to wake up in 20 years from now with nothing in his life but socks and bonds.
How's that?
Yes, mixed up and unhappy, the way you are.
I beg your pardon, Mrs. Vanderhoff. I'm a very happy man.
Oh, are you?
Certainly I am.
I don't think so. What do you think you get your indigestion from? Happiness? No, sir. You get it because most of your time is spent on doing things you don't want to do.
I don't do anything I don't want to.
Oh, yes, you do. You said last night that at the end of a week in Wall Street, you're pretty near crazy. Why do you keep on doing it?
Why do I keep on? Why, that's my business. A man can't give up his business.
Why not? You've got all the money you need. You can't take it with you.
That's a very easy thing to say, Mrs. Vanderhoff. But I have spent my entire life building up my business.
And what's it all got to you? Same kind of mail every morning, same kind of meetings, same dinners every night, same indigestion. Where does the fun come in, huh? Don't you think there ought to be something more, Mr. Kirby? You must have wanted more than that when you started out. We haven't got too much time, you know, any of us.
What do you expect me to do? Live the way you all do? Do nothing?
Well, we have a lot of fun. Time enough for everything. Read, talk, visit the zoo now and then, hobbies, even have time to notice when spring comes around. Don't see anybody I don't want to. I don't have 6 hours of things I have to do every day before I get 1 hour to do what I like. And I haven't taken bicarbonate of soda in 35 years. What's the matter with that?
The matter with that? Suppose we all did that. A fine world we'd have. Everybody's going to zoos. Don't be ridiculous, Mrs. Vanderhoff. Who would do the work?
There's always people that like to work. You can't stop them. There's always people to go down to Wall Street because they like it. But from what I've seen of you, I don't think you're one of them. I think you're missing something.
You know, I'm not aware of missing something.
Well, I wasn't either till I quit. I used to get down to that office 9 o'clock sharp, no matter how I felt. Lay awake nights for fear I wouldn't get that contract. Used to worry about the world. What I'm trying to say is that I've had 35 years that nobody can take away from me, see?
Yes, I do see. And it's a very dangerous philosophy, Mrs. Vanderhoff. It's un-American. And it's exactly why I'm opposed to this marriage. I don't want Tony to come under its influence.
What's the matter with it, Father?
Matter with it? Why, it's downright communism. That's what it is.
You didn't always think so.
I most certainly did. What are you talking about?
You didn't always think so. There was a time when you wanted to be a trapeze artist.
Why? Don't be an idiot, Tony.
Oh yeah. Oh yes, you did. I came across those letters you wrote to grandfather. You remember the letters?
No. How dare you read those letters?
Why, isn't that wonderful? Did you wear tights, Mr. Kirby?
Certainly not. The whole thing is absurd. I was 14 years old at the time.
Yes, but at 18, you wanted to be a saxophone player, didn't you? And at 21, you ran away from home because grandfather wanted you to go into business. It's all down there, black and white. You didn't always think so.
Well, well, well.
I may have had some silly notions in my youth, but thank God my father knocked them out of me. I went into the business and forgot about them.
Not altogether. There's still a saxophone in the back of your closet.
There is.
That's enough, Tony. We'll discuss this later.
No. I want to talk about it now. I think Mrs. Vanderhoff is right. I'm never going back into that office. I've always hated it, and I'm not going on with it. I'll tell you something else. I did make a mistake last night. I knew it was the wrong night. I brought you here on purpose.
Tony.
Well, for heavens.
Because I wanted you to wake up. I wanted you to see a real family and what they really were. A family that loved and understood each other. You don't understand me. You never had the time. Well, I'm not going to make your mistake. I'm clearing out.
Clearing out? What do you mean?
I mean, I'm not going to be pushed into the business just because I'm your son. I'm getting out while there's still time.
But Tony, what are you going to do?
I don't know. Maybe I'll be a bricklayer, but at least I'll be doing something I want to do.
That must be the cab.
He can wait a minute.
Grandma.
Do you mind, Alice? Do you know, Mr. Kirby, Tony's going through what you did at his age. I think if you listen hard enough, you can hear yourself saying the same things to your father 25 years ago. We all did it, and we were right. How many of us would be willing to settle when we're young for what we eventually get? All those plans we make, what happens to them? It's only a handful of the lucky ones that can look back and say that they even came close. So before they clean out that closet, Mr. Kirby, I think I'd get in a few good hours of that on that saxophone.
I beg your pardon, but before I make the blintzes, how many will there be for dinner?
Oh, I'd make quite a stack of them, Your Highness. Can't ever tell.
The Tsar always said to me, Olga, do not be stingy on the blintzes.
Who did you say that was, Mrs. Vanderhoff?
The Grand Duchess, Olga Katrina. She's cooking the dinner.
Oh.
And speaking of dinner, Mr. Kirby, why don't you and Tony both stay?
Oh, please do. We've got all that stuff and we were going to have last night. I mean tonight.
Looks like a pretty good dinner, and it'll give us a chance to get acquainted. Why not stay?
How about it, Father? Are we staying for dinner?
Well, if you care to, Tony, I'd like to. Very much.
Now, Alice, will you please send away that cab?
How about it, Alice? Going to be a nice crowd.
I'm staying, Alice. The families ought to get to know each other, don't you think?
Mr. Kirby, Tony. Oh, Tony. Oh, Grandma, you're wonderful.
I've been telling you that for years.
Oh, I can't wait to try a blintz. Oh, Grandma, here's a letter for you.
It was in the icebox.
Let me see. Oh, the government again.
Oh, how do you know, Mr. Kirby?
Uh-oh.
How do you do?
Won't you step into my office, Miss Sycamore? I'd like to do a little dictating.
Well.
What is it, Grandma?
The United States government apologizes. I don't owe him a nickel. It seems I died 8 years ago.
Why, what do they mean?
Remember Charlotte, the flower lady, buried under my name?
Yes.
Well, I just told them they made a mistake, and I was Martina Vanderhoff Jr. So they're very sorry, and I may even get a refund.
Why, Grandma, you old crook.
Pardon me, how did you say you escaped the income tax, Mrs. Vanderhoff?
Good night, my friends. You're going to eat.
Hello there.
How do you do?
Fine. Glad to see you.
What happened?
He's relaxing.
Come on, everybody. Dinner.
You will like Russian food, Mr. Kirby.
Oh, but you must be careful with your indigestion.
Nonsense. I haven't any indigestion.
Quiet. Everybody quiet. Well, sir, here we are again. We want to say thanks once more for everything you've done for us. Things seem to be going along fine. Alice is going to marry Tony, and it looks as if they're going to be very happy. Of course, the fireworks blew up, but that was the pinnace fault, not yours. We've all got our health, and as far as everything is concerned, we'll leave it to you. Thank you.
Grandma, I have heard from my friend in Siberia. He has escaped again.
Oh, save the stamp for me.
Mr. Kirby, do you like roast goose? We have roast goose for dinner.
Like it? Why, it's my favorite dish.
Oh,
Tell me, Mr. Kirby, do you know the tango? I'm going to dance with you later.
I've written special music for it.
Mr. Kirby, what do you think of the special commission?
Pinna, we've got to start thinking about next year's fireworks.
Well, here goes the Adirondacks.
And a very good thing, too.
And curtains.